Click. Welcome, Jamstack Pirates, to Jamstackian Royal Radio. Yeah, that's
the new one.
It's a new one.
I love it.
And okay, man. I got some coding here. That I want to show you, and you have a tool.
Yep.
What's it called?
It's a surprise. No.
Yes, I like it.
It's a browser automation platform called Playwright.
Okay.
It's sort of the next evolution, the latest in the chain of things like Puppeteer and Nightmare and some of these other ones, and it's fantastic. So
say the name again.
Playwright.
It's
WRIGHT. Playwright.dev, as in someone who writes plays.
Oh,
theater reference. Yeah.
Very good. Now it's easier to remember.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's easier to remember. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll show you some code here now, and and it looks kind of weird. Wait. No, it starts out not looking that weird, but it will look weird. What? Oh no, that's totally not the right thing. That was the notes. but it's the same code because I have the code in my notes too. So, well, bad mistake. Okay, let's try again then. Isn't it this? Is that it? Why do I have so many windows?
Mm-hmm.
Is that better?
That looks pretty good.
I think this is it. Here it is. Yep. Yes. Okay then. So I have a surprise today. And we got a new customer.
Really?
It's
excellent.
It's totally like we started working Monday, so that's like 2 days ago. Yeah. And it's still not. It's the name will be announced tomorrow. But we're going to do some of the stuff that I've been showing you before. And but from a little bit of a different perspective, because now we're going to the customer has a plugin. It's not exactly old. It's a Gatsby plugin, but it's not like up to date. And then so I'm going to use the same code that I've shown you before, but I kind of traveled back in time with the code. So it's kind of, it's not super old school, but it's a little old school this here. Okay, so here. Yeah, maybe I should just go and explain first. So export. It could be bigger, couldn't it?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, I made you bigger instead. That's it. That doesn't help me. Okay. And I don't need to show all of that stuff. No, go away. And like that. Okay. So export source nodes here. It's where you should source. So we're sourcing YouTube videos, and in the good old days, which we are now in the good old days here in the code, you could source the nodes inside of this function here, and you could also create the types in the same function, and that's not allowed anymore. That's a no-no. And so the new Gatsby 4 version 4, it came out after the summer, like last year. And so that's when it stopped being okay. Was it? I'm not exactly sure when it came out, but yeah, it's not that long ago. So and we can't do that anymore. We can't create it. So here we're creating the types, and we're um, kind of calling, or we passing in these cons here and these cons here, which are the new types, and that's not okay anymore. And here we're um, uh, creating the nodes, and that's cool. We can still do that here.
Mm.
So um, I'm basically just going to. This is going to be because I did this with you before. This here thing, showing you this before, but now I'm just going to comment them out like that. No, like that. And so now the only thing we're doing inside here is await, promise all, and then creating these YouTube nodes here, which are, that's still okay. And then I'm moving this code here up just a little bit here. So this is the same. I already have it.
Mm.
So this is how I showed you it last time, 2 weeks ago, and then we do it inside of this create schema customization thing. So um, and if yeah, so this is the old uh, build here before I made a changes. And you see here, warning: calling create types in source nodes is deprecated. Please use create schema customization. So it tells me that. So that's step one. That's step one. And then um, there's a step two, which we're not going to look at because it's not relevant for the client work. And but it's another thing that people used to do, and it used to be okay, but it's not okay anymore, and it's in the docs. So but yeah, we're not doing that. So that's step two. So we're going straight to step three, and it's kind of, I think maybe, I hope you'll recognize some of this stuff because it's uh, kind of JavaScript like
Mm.
we used to do, uh, and still do. Let's see here. It's all the way down here. You might think it's weird because it's kind of weird, but the logic is sound. So here it is. Here it is. So I'm going to code these things here now. So you see that?
Bicycle emoji.
Yeah. So we start here. So this is where we start. And start. And we make this let here is core supports on plugin in it. And that's a new thing that Gatsby has come out with. It's yeah, to make stuff work uh even if it's not working, kind of. Yeah, yeah. It's
Okay.
so that's why we have this if here, and also this if here. You see there are lots of animals like goats and dogs and wolves, and
Okay.
it's the same animals, you see. So this is the same as this. So it's a lot of the same stuff just happening over and over. And and um and, and let's see if I remember all this stuff here. So yeah, core. So this, um, if this doesn't work, we get this error here inside of this try catch thing.
Mhm.
So I'm not going to make that try catch. I'm just going to fill out the blanks here, I think. So this um, is that the on plugin in it? I think it is. I need to use my cheat sheet. I will learn this. I will learn it by doing it again and again. Let's see. Come on. No, that didn't work. Okay. Yes. So is that's why it's so it's cycle. So it's a life cycle. So is Gatsby life cycle supported? Life cycle supported.
Wow,
That's the
that's a long name.
const. That's why I cut it down to just bicycle.
Yeah, I like that better.
Yeah.
Is Gatsby life cycle supported this week?
And then require and like that. I think it is like that. Yeah. And then it's Gatsby plugin utils. So Gatsby plugin utils, isn't that right? Pretty sure. Oh man, I can't even see it. Yeah, I think it's right. But so this plugin here, I have it locally. So I made it as a local plugin, and it has its own package JSON.
Mm-hmm.
And here you see it, Gatsby plugin utils. So now I'm kind of requiring this package in here. And what we're going to look at is, okay, but do you actually have it? Do you actually, is it actually working? That's what we're going to, or is it stable or unstable is what we're going to look at in this if statement. So is if is Gatsby lifecycle supported, um, and with this argument here on plugging in it, if that is true, then core support plugging in it, this thing up here, then that is stable. So the dog is stable and the wolf is unstable.
That makes sense.
Yeah, it's a bit judgmental, but you know. And then so else if is Gatsby lifecycle supported unstable, then the core supports plugin, and then we're going to use this um, in the next if statement down. So unstable. So then the code will still work if it's stable or if it's unstable. That's basically the point of the code here. Okay, so these global plugin options, that is here in my config. Where is my config now? Oh, there is no config in here. Yes, it is here. Demo, Gatsby config. So if you had a website, then this would be your website. This demo here would be your website. And then inside here, these are the plugin options we're talking about. So that's basically the name of the videos that I've said it's okay to play for Lillian. These are the only 4 videos she can watch on this YouTube thing that I made. Yeah. So that's these options here. They're global. Okay, so now I'm going to initialize this global state to use them. And then here you see it's a goat again. And what was the code? That was this. No, that's not that. That was this core support on plugin. So if the core support, if core supports on plugin in it is stable, then I will use this initialize global state thing, and that's good. Else, if the core support thingy is unstable, then we will use this here unstable plugin in it to initialize the global state. And if none of those are true, then we're going to use the old way and still initialize. So this is going to work no matter what.
Nice. Wow.
I hope. Yeah. So that's step 1 and 4. Let's see if I can find you back. Where are you? I can't see you now. Oh, man. So do you have any questions? Oops. I'm trying to get you back. There you are.
Lots of plugin inits.
Yes, I know.
Cores, lots of cores and supports and plugins.
Yes.
But I did like the wolf and dog
Yeah.
corollary. That was fantastic.
So yeah, maybe I'll tell you after the stream who the client is. But we're going to announce it on the Pirate TV stream tomorrow. So yeah. Okay, shall we look at your tool?
Yeah, man.
Can you share screen or something?
Yeah,
or...
that's what I'm contemplating here. Best way to do this, because it's going to bounce between a few different apps. So let me get it going here. So there's at least a 10 plus year history of some really great tools for like automating a browser.
Yeah.
And it gets the most use and attention in integration testing, where developers have launched code and they want to make sure that everything still works, right? And that makes sense that's like why this gets the most use. But I've always liked using it as a much more advanced way to do scraping and get interact with things that don't have APIs.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of them out there. I mean, like,
yeah,
it's great that APIs seem to be commonplace. And if you're using some brand new app or big, well-supported, enterprise site or app or whatever, then, they all have APIs. But so many of the small business tools that I write are, okay, I need to go to this like county website and fill out this form or search for information on this thing. And it's like, well, those things don't have APIs. And so back when the web was simpler, you could use a tool like Cheerio.js is kind of an old classic that just helps you parse HTML. So you could make a simple request from Node for the web page. It would dump all the HTML. And then you could use Cheerio, kind of like jQuery on the back end, to just like say, okay, find me that one field and tell me what the information is. And now I can save it to my database, and simple web scraping, right? But things have gotten way more complex than that. Like, so many sites are dynamic now, and they only load the data that you need after the initial payload has come down and JavaScript runs. And often they have relatively smart checks to make sure that like you're not just a bot, like they want to make sure it's a human. And so they put simple things in there that like need to store sessions in cookies, and then you jump to another page, and just all this stuff that made that simple scraping is like, it's pretty limited now, right? So they came out with these other tools that were running, like one I used to use is called Nightmare.js, which opens an Electron browser, and you can do that's a lot of tools are built on Electron, like Slack and things, at least used to be. That was great, but it's got its own things. And then finally they started opening up Chrome or Chromium, sort of the engine that the Chrome browser is built on, to be more easily accessed and have APIs and SDKs to be able to use it. And so other tools have come along since then. And my current favorite, I think the best one that is sort of the current one, the most robust one, is called Playwright, PLAYWRIGHT.dev. And let me see if I can get a thing going here.
So you use it with your clients?
Yeah, for sure. And so, like, one example is I told you about this client who I help. He helps people set up businesses, LLCs, and that's for all 50 states. And once you submit the information online, most of them will follow up with an email once it's been approved or declined. So that's great. But there are a few of them that don't. You just have to go check the website. Okay. And it's like a variable amount of time. It could be ready in 3 days or 2 weeks. And so you can imagine, once I get a stack of these that I'm waiting for, and there's maybe we've got a dozen that are kind of waiting out there in the wings, like that's a crummy task to go and like type in and search and see, is it ready yet? No. Oh, okay. But they don't have APIs, right? And they're slightly more complex websites. I can't just write a script like that's running in the background to easily check. So enter Playwright, because now you can script it and you can say whether you want it to be headless, meaning the browser doesn't even display on your screen, but it's still there and doing stuff, or a normal browser that pops up and you can actually jump in as a human and interact with it. So I've created some fairly complex flows where the code is entering lots of stuff for me, but it will pause and let me like look at and make sure, like, okay, is that all correct? Because this is like important, sensitive information, someone's business information or whatever. I need to make sure it's right. And then I can click, yep. And then it will like go through a few more pages and enter stuff or whatever. Or in the case I just mentioned, like now I can have it run to check our little database, pull down the LLCs that we're currently waiting to see if they're approved. And then one by one, it just bounces through them and opens up the website, does the search, goes to the page. I can have it, check to say we're kind of looking for this phrase or something. And if so, then great, mark it as ready and click through and we'll download the information. If not, jump to the next LLC. And so I just get to kind of sit and watch this thing play out and then jump in where I need to. And it just saves so much time. And as a developer, right, like it's just a super nerdy thing to do. It's fun to be able to like create these little bots that do stuff for you, right? It's like it's like right at the core of what got me interested in development in the first place. Is like you can write instructions and the computer does them, and it's like it's just that part.
But I love that you can watch it.
Yeah, I know, that's what's fun, right? So if you go to playwright.dev, you're going to see that most of the introduction and the language and the tutorials and whatever are built around creating a test suite for your app. Yeah. Right. It's like, oh, here's how you set up the assertions, as they call them, and make sure that this is where you think it will be when you click on this button and all that stuff. That's great. But again, for my purposes, I'm like, I just want to like automate things and scrape stuff. So I'm going to try and share, because one of the coolest features of this that makes it so helpful is it will record. You can put it in a mode where it will record your actions. So the first time you're trying to go through, rather than looking at the API and trying to figure out every command and using DOM inspection to figure out which form filled, what it's called, what you should enter, it will figure that stuff out for you. Okay.
While you're clicking around in a way?
Yes. Isn't that cool? Yeah. So let me see if it will share correctly. I'll show you what I've done here. Share. window. Can I share two at a time? No. Okay.
You
well,
can share your whole screen and then you can have two windows. No.
I got all this other stuff. That's not going to work, man.
No.
But let me just show you what's happening. Okay.
Yeah.
So do you see
Add to
this?
stream.
Says
Yeah.
Playwright Inspector. Okay. So in another screen now,
Yes.
I am on Google. Just google.com, the homepage. And so that's why you see that first thing it says there is like that's the command it's created for me. So if I jump to that, and now as I click on things, so let's say I paste in the name of a tomato that I was looking at. A minute here. Oops, wrong thing. Clicking here, so now it's got my click, and it's got that I put that info in, and it's got that I've hit return, and it knows, okay, now it's going to this page. And then if I click on this link, and it's going to go to this website, and maybe I want to change the quantity on my cart to 3, and then add that to cart. And so you can see it's for you figuring out what the DOM query path should be to these different things. And then you've got this working code. So then I take this as my base and go create a little Node.js file. And of course, instead of hard-coded, info that you put in there, I will first start my script by calling our database or whatever you need to do to get the dynamic info. And then you just put the variable things in there, and you can do standard, if else and try catch statements to say, okay, so if we see this info, then, save it to my database or go to this other website or do whatever and loop through different things. And in the whole time you can configure it to say like, yes, I make it so that I see it rather than what they call headless. And then you just sit and watch your robots do the things for you, which I just find super nerdy and exciting.
And then you watch it and then you think, no, that's wrong, robots. You're not supposed to do that. And then you have to go in and change the...
Right, go in and change the code or, yeah. And there have been...
Or you can just stop it and click it to the right place.
You can have it to like, you can tell it to just like pause, wait for your input. One of the big advantages of Playwright, if you're somebody who has used this kind of thing in the past and you're used to it, is that it's much better than the old tools. They've put a lot of work into making it be smart about waiting for things.
Yeah.
So you used to have to kind of manually put in like, oh, don't click on this button until this DOM element is there and ready, or you just have to put in art, kind of take your guess at how long it would take. So you'd be like, click this button, wait 5 seconds, then click this button, right? And it's like, well, maybe it takes longer than 5 seconds, or maybe that's too long and you're going to get bored. This just sort of built into it. If you say, click on, press this button, by default, it assumes you want to wait for that button to be there, and it will just wait until it comes up, and you can set timeouts if you want and whatever. So the one little last pro tip I've found, there was a federal government website that I was doing this for, to get the IRS website in order to get the identification number you need for businesses. And I noticed after I'd been using it for a little while that it would get halfway through and then it would just close. There would just be an error and the browser would shut down. And I was like, well, maybe instead of launching it with Chrome, because you can do the WebKit engine instead, like Safari, you can have it do the Firefox engine, so I was like trying different browsers. It would just die. And I was like, what is going on? So I just went in and actually manually added like a 1 second pause, because my hypothesis was that they had a very simple catch in their system that was like, if a person gets to this page and it's only been 5 seconds, then like, this isn't right. This is probably a bot, because humans can't type that fast. And sure enough, that seems to have fixed it. I just went in and put like a little 1 second delay. So that instead of like whipping through all the information quite so fast, it seems a little bit more human-like, because there's just a little pause, right?
Yeah.
And now it's back to working. So anyway.
Yeah.
Not all web bots are bad, right? Like,
But it's not meant for scraping, actually.
Yeah, no, really, they don't want, because you know, I don't blame sites for doing that. Like what, 999 times out of 100, bots are not being used for purposes anybody really wants.
Yeah.
But in this case, I'm doing legitimate interactions. I just have a lot of them, and I'm trying to eliminate not just the time, but also errors of mistyping or miscopy pasting information from, some spreadsheet into the website or whatever. So there you have it.
Yes. Yes. So you use it like weekly or?
Oh no, like every day.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's right.
Got a few different tools that are running on it. Use it every day. So
that's when you know it's great. A great tool when you use it every day.
Yep.
Yeah.
Saves a lot of time.
Yeah, good. Did you put up like the address so people can go find it?
No, let me drop that in here. Just in the chat, right?
Yes.
So I should have done that at the beginning.
No, that's okay. That's fine. Yeah, now I remember. Let's make a date for the next show. Oh, I have my book. I have it here. Oh man. Yeah, I was late today because we have substitute taxi driver for Lillian, and he's real slow.
Really?
Yeah. It was so funny because her regular taxi driver Ollie, he's on vacation. I guess we don't know. We don't know, but he got I think he's on vacation because it's so she got the replacement dude, and she was like, she came home, so Ollie drove her to school, and then the new guy drove her back, and she was so moody when she came back, and I was like, okay, what happened at school? And she was like, nothing. And I was like, oh dude, this is big. But then it turned out it was the new taxi guy. She didn't like him, and she was like, huh, he doesn't even know where I live. And I was like, well, he has this little screen with the address and everything, so I think he actually knows, and then I thought we were done, but he told us that he was going to do it for like 5 days.
Okay.
And then I thought that this would be cool, but it wasn't cool. It wasn't cool. And then it turned out that she was right in a way, because he's always late. He's always late. I don't know why, but he's like super late. So she had a good hunch there on the taxi driver.
Yeah, she knew. Hey, can I ask you, like, is having a taxi driver for your kid, like here, having a private driver for your kid is a fairly like rich guy thing to do?
Yeah.
Is it more commonplace there, or are you guys just being rich guys?
No, so first of all, it's the city. The city pays the taxi.
Oh, wait. So it's not, is it other kids in with her, or is it just
her? Yeah. So they're picking
so it's
up
more like a bus service.
In a way, but it's
in a way.
It is, but is it like a rich guy kind of thing? Yeah, in many ways. First of all, nobody knows about it. We didn't know. So when we heard, we're like,
nice.
That can't be true. And also, it's not like the bus, because like this guy, they actually send their best drivers. So it's the best taxi company, and they send their best drivers because it's the best job. It's very regular, and it's kids, and they're not always happy, but it's it's more fun than just some boring dude.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's a very premium service. I didn't expect it to be that good, but it's because the buses here, they are always late, and they're always full.
Yeah.
So no, it's great. Yeah. So you went on a trip.
Yes. Yep. Went to go visit a good friend I hadn't seen in a few years, and it was some important years. He got married and had a child, and so it was I missed out. It's been too long since I've seen him, but it was fun. And I was out on the Oregon coast, so it was chilly, right? Beautiful beach, but this is not the kind of beach you think of, like warm California sunny beach. It was rainy, overcast, cold, so we didn't go in the water, but it's beautiful scenery, like hike up through the forest. So they call it, did I already talk about this? They call it temperate rainforest, right? So
No, you didn't.
oh, it's beautiful scenery all up there through the Pacific Northwest. You get like just dense forest, and then it just goes right up to the shore, and often up on these cliffs and things. So you're like hiking through the forest, and you're thinking like, yeah, I'm in this very dense, beautiful, cool, mossy forest, and then you come out of the trees, and you're like, whoa! And there's this incredible cliffside view, and there's a lighthouse, and look at all these birds and everything. I love that part of our country. So it was fun. We got to go up and see them, and then we were going to go digging for razor clams, but the tides didn't work out. So he's promised me next time we're going to go dig for razor clams. But while we were out there was a guy coming in from the beach who had been fishing, and I love fishing. And I was like, oh, what were you fishing? How was the fishing? And he's like, it was okay. I only kept one this morning. I'm like, oh, what were you catching? He's like, just perch. It's like, but it's a lot of fun. There's a bunch of them out there, and it's just right here off this beach, easy to access. I'm like, oh, cool. And then he was walking away, and he goes, hey, do you guys like fish? And I was like, yeah, I love fish. And he goes, well, I've just got this one, and I'm not like, it's not enough to have dinner for my family. So do you guys want it? And I was like, yes. So he gave us this fish. And I was so excited because I haven't filleted a fish in a little while. I usually, here where I live, I catch a lot of trout, and we mostly just let them go. But when we do keep one, you don't fillet them. You gut them, and then you cook the whole thing with the bones on.
Yeah.
And this perch is, actually more traditional kind of filleting. So I was like, I haven't done this in a while. This would be fun. So filleted the fish. Yeah. We cooked it sous vide, of course.
Yeah.
That's the best way to cook any kind of meat. We had like surf and turf is what they call it here, right? We had steaks and fish. When you have like the surf is the seafood and turf is like the land. Surf and turf is like steak and fish. If you see that in the restaurant.
Steak and fish.
Yeah. And not just any steak. We had like it was very nice. I'm not super selective about my meat. In some future version of myself, I'm going to get more diligent about, like sustainably sourced meat that's more healthy. I don't really do that. I just go to the grocery store and buy, steaks that are on sale or whatever. But this was like grass-fed, organic, like local beef. And there was 3 different cuts, so I was like, this will be great. We'll try, we'll try it alongside each other. Which one do you like better, ribeye or fillet? And then we had the fish, and I love it, man. It's like you remember when I was at your cabin and we cooked, and you had your friend that was all into cooking.
Yeah,
and I was like,
totally.
That's the best times, just sitting around with friends, cooking, eating food, man.
But did it taste the difference between like the grass-fed thing and like ordinary store bought?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. Generally speaking, the like grass-fed and grass-finished is not my favorite because it tends to be leaner. And so if that's your jam, if you're trying to like get your beef without as much fat, then like good. And I think it's better for the environment probably and that kind of stuff instead of these kind of more factory grain-fed cows. But if you want just a nice marbly kind of steak, then.
But do they walk outside and eat grass, or do they feed them grass? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I mean, maybe both. In this case, it was like a local pastured. They walk out and eat grass. Yeah. I'm sure. I don't doubt that there are places that probably still keep them in the same kind of like factory style, but then they just like feed them manufactured grass clippings so that they can claim they're grass fed. I don't know. I mean, that happens with everything else, right? Like they just want that stamp to say, like if you look at the definition of whole grain, like that's a thing here. There's a lot of food will have, like cereals and stuff will have whole grain stamped on it. The definition of whole grain is something like 40% of it has to be from the whole grain.
Yeah.
So it's not actually whole grain. It's less than half grain, but like.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And free range
But-
chickens, they just have to provide them a door
Yeah.
that allows them to go out.
Oh,
But the way they raise them,
Yeah.
most of them don't, but they can still
Yeah.
put the stamp on there that's like
Yeah.
free range chickens.
look,
It's like even
look
though
at the
they've been
door.
raised in a tiny cage.
You can look at the door. Yeah, it's there.
Yes,
Yeah.
there. That's your range.
But you know what I think about all those things? Yeah, is that it's a little bit like electric cars. Electric cars in themselves are not like actually making that big of a real environmental impact, but inside of people's head, it's like
saving the world.
But no, but the mentality is turned upside down because, like we talked about with the taxi. So I'm this rich dude, and suddenly I have an electric car. My car is electric. So before I was like, I need something I can turn upside down here. It's very scary with this cup here. Okay, so used to be that my cup was like this for the environment. I did not care like at all. And in
Really?
Norway, this is So I'm like this really rich dude. I don't care at all. But then suddenly, for my own reasons, I buy an electric car, and my mentality is flipped upside down. It's not only that I bought the car, and of course I want to protect my car. My car is the best because it's my car. But it's also people keep asking me questions about the environment. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And of course I can say, I still don't care. But that's not true anymore because now I suddenly care. I'm not joking. I've been talking to these dudes and asking them questions because I don't really follow the field, but I know the basics. So I can ask the questions and just have them talk to me. And dude, they know a lot now. Like in the 90s, they didn't know anything. They knew nothing about it. Now they know a lot. So the mentality's changed, and that means that like with these chickens here, at some point the market will say, "Dude, I want my chickens to be actually outside. I got the money. Yeah, I got the money here." And so that's what has to happen. The market has to come first. It's not like in tech where Steve Jobs suddenly says, "Hey, look at this iPad here," and everybody's like, "I don't need another device." But wait a minute. so the market has I believe it's moving in the right direction, and it might go faster than we think, because here, like, I think it's more than half of the new cars are electric that people buy.
Wow.
Yeah, it's and they're everywhere. Like you walk on the street, they're like all the cars, like more than half of the cars you see are electric. So it's and
cool.
It went fast. Yeah. When did the Tesla thing come?
I don't know. 10 years?
Yeah, something like that.
Coming up on maybe? Like
I think so. It's so in politics, 10 years is almost nothing. It's like you almost get nothing done in 10 years. So yeah. So let's make a date for the Wednesday.
I got more traveling coming up, man. It's gonna be a few weeks.
Well, good for you. Good for you. I like it.
Catching up from all the COVID years of not getting on a plane for 2 years.
You have like saved up the budget in a way?
Yes, but with points.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
like all the loyalty points, credit card points, and everything.
Yeah.
And so.
Okay.
Okay, so for me, we're looking at Wednesday, June 15th.
Okay. I'll make sure that I'm not late then. 15th. Yeah. Benedict is at the conference too, so that's a little bit of a.
Oh, where's she at?
Do you know? Have you heard about Sanity? Sanity.
Don't think so.
It's a content management system. They have their own conference thing downtown here. It's not. But we're going there tomorrow with Lillian. Okay, so it's the same time as today. Yeah, good. Okay. So will you stay on for like 2 minutes after we quit the show so I can tell you the new client?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll just...
It'll be a surprise for everyone else.
Yes!
Tomorrow.
Oh, I need to have my little pointer ready so that I can push the button. All right. This has been another Jam Stack Pirates. Oh, that does not work at all. Jam Stacking Pirate Royal Radio. That was totally wrong. Okay. Bye, everybody.